Hola folks! I've been doing a lot of research and stuff, trying to solidify my idea for my work proposal I have to hand in on Friday. Thursday I am going to the Frieze Art Fair, so I'll take my camera around with me there. I'll probably make a reasonable sized video of exactly what I like, then probably post it on my main channel, and then I will just put some snippets in this, I think. Depends how much footage I get from my visit. I have been reading a lecture by Anthony Gormley called Body, Space and Body Time, Living in Sculpture, rather. It's pretty fascinating, really. It talks about, or he talks about, basically that interaction between sculpture and humans, and I've only read, because it is a very small text and I have to go through it very, very carefully and sort of make notes and that sort of stuff. I've not really read that much. As you can see, I've only got probably about halfway through it, just because I'm analysing it so much. But it gives a lot of theory on sort of objects with a sort of physical power. It talks a lot about science. I'm not particularly great at sort of taking stuff in and then pumping it back out, but that's the reason why I'm filming this, is to try and make myself better at it. Interesting quote I picked out was, "The realm of mind is free of the condition of a body in space." It's quite interesting theory. That's really just sparked off loads of ideas in my brain. Basically, I tried to explain it when I was very, very tired last night, what my concept was about. My concept's sort of still being made. It's just the thing I'm going to work with for the next little while, but it's something I've been really, really fascinated with. It's all to do with the human energy and sort of like life energy. Obviously, a reason why we can't interact so well with, say, classical sculpture is that they're statues, they're lifeless. People can look at them and they can ignore them. I suppose it could be said that you can look at someone and ignore them at the same time with people, but interaction seems to be a very important part of art, and I want somehow interaction to be a key part of my work. It's quite difficult to explain. So you've got 2D, which is basically flat on paper. You've got 3D, which is obviously three-dimensional, it's sculpture, and then there's almost another dimension, almost like a 4D, when you add interaction and movement. So I found a couple of really, really, really interesting artists. I couldn't tell you their name because I think pretty sure they're Japanese, but they sort of look a lot at robotics and that sort of thing, and even though robotics isn't really what I'm interested in, one of them had a really, really fascinating video of their work, of his work. Really weird music, but I'll show you. That for me is fascinating stuff. See if I can find his name. Ziwon Wang, Z-I-W-O-N, Wang. Very, very interesting stuff. It seems like all of his sculpture is animated, from what I can tell. Majority of it is anyway. I have absolutely no experience with robotics or anything like that. I'm pretty sure it all works off of like a slow movement cog system, and it all rotates in a pattern or whatever. I will look into that somehow. But back to Anthony Gormley's lecture thingy. One of the things that I did read that was quite interesting is talking about one of his earlier pieces of work. This is a bit sort of like kind of sculptural, kind of not. Basically what he did, he stood in a singular spot, I imagine in a wide open space, otherwise this would be very freaking difficult. Picked up a rock, lobbed the rock, marked where he was standing, chucked the rock as far as he could, and then within that radius of sort of like the original spot he was and where the stone landed, he gathered up all the stones in that area and basically collected them in a pile, then stood on the pile, picked up another stone and threw it off as far as he could, obviously because the trajectory would be slightly further because it was in a higher spot. I don't know how the fuck he did this because it would have taken him fucking ages, but and basically kept on building him up and building up until he literally couldn't chuck the thing far enough for him to get a larger radius to gather up stones, I guess. And pretty freaking fascinating just for the fact that he's almost extended his being by doing that, and a load of unarty people are sort of going, what? Well, basically, if you think about it, that rock is limited by how far it can lob. I'm guessing it's the same rock every time, otherwise it would be a bit of a shit experiment. If you just threw a little one and it went way further, I'm pretty sure he didn't. But that's almost an embodiment of his being. It's limited by his body. Well, I suppose someone else could do it and produce the exact same thing. But that area and that rock formation that he made was almost an embodiment of his being. I don't really have a better word for it. But yeah, I'll give a proper explanation of my concept when I've actually written it up. I'll be doing most of my artwork on my project channel. I do plan on filming it. Anywho, yes, artistic ramblings of me. Well, art theory ramblings, I guess. Yeah. I'm gonna shut this thing down. Toodly tip, mother.